Welcome back everybody, my name is Max Rank and this is Sinai Desert. So today we find ourselves in Egypt. The Sinai Peninsula, or simply Sinai, is a peninsula in Egypt situated between the Mediterranean Sea to the north and the Red Sea to the south. It serves as a land bridge between Asia and Africa. During the war, people in Europe regarded Middle Eastern operations as an expensive and unimportant sideshow, but they were wrong. World War I was a globalised conflict where an engagement in an Egyptian backwater could have cascading effects on the battlefields of France, and what happened in Sinai, Palestine and Mesopotamia would end up shaping the 20th century Middle East. Egypt's Sinai Peninsula possessed a major strategic asset, the Suez Canal. Despite technically being in Ottoman territory, the British-held canal allowed the Allies to bring colonial manpower and materials to bear on the European front. Troops from as far as Australia and India deployed to the fields of France, and imperial resources kept the war machine running. In 1915, the Ottoman Empire, with the support of its German allies, attacked the Suez Canal in an attempt to seize or disable it. The Ottoman raid failed, but it opened up a new front. Though originally a defensive conflict, after the Battle of Romani in 1916, the Sinai and Palestine campaign became a fast-moving war of raiding, troop movement and aerial bombardment. The harsh terrain and open deserts called for a greater reliance on cavalry, cars, trucks, tanks and rail lines. And both sides courted local tribes as allies in guerrilla warfare. So there is the history portion, and now for the map and the opening run routes. The British spawn on apples, whilst the Ottoman forces spawn on Freddy. There are three main routes that the teams will typically use, and let's begin on the British side. The first route is off across the desert to George. Most players will avoid the apples capture and head straight for the flag. This route is most commonly used by vehicles or cavalry, but you can hike over there on foot if the mood carries you. The second route is straight on to Duff after capping apples, and again usually taken by vehicles. And the third and final route is over to Butter after capping apples. This is the route most infantry players run, as it gives them 2 flag capture points and all the points that go with that without facing the enemy team. Over to the Ottoman side, and they too have 3 routes to run off the spawn. The first, like the British, is across the desert and onto George, and just like the British, this route is typically taken by vehicles or cavalry, as you will see me do in the beginning of the game. The second route is onto Duff, and again usually done by anything powered. The third route is the typical infantry route and sees most players heading straight for Edward after the Freddy cap is completed. And now for the nuts and bolts of this map. Let's start with running across the desert to George from the British side. Now, whilst it breaks up the usual mundane run from apples to butter, capturing this flag is really of no significance to winning on this map. The only perk to getting over there is the Tank Hunter, and if you are there first and you begin to cap the flag, the Tank Hunter Elite class will spawn in a crate under the tent-like structure between the 2 buildings. Then you can go on a tank or armoured car killing spree, not to mention the 1 kills anywhere on the map versus infantry. I don't like this route, and they only ran it in this gameplay to demonstrate the point I just mentioned. Running from apples over to Duff can be fun if you're in the mood to run headlong into the enemy team doing the same thing, but it's also the very reason that on occasion I will strap on the 1903, crank the zoom up to 10 times and sit back and attempt the super long range kills, but aside from this I wouldn't bother going over to Duff only to die. If you do feel the pressing need to take Duff immediately, then follow the rock line to the right of the edge of the town and use that as cover before picking your enemy off and moving on to the flag. Don't hide in the building or under the train to cap. You're an easy target for snipers or tanks, and they will be there. Instead, hide under the canopy with the sandbags in the southeast of the 2 boxcars. My preferred route from the British side is going to be Butter. However, rather than running I should say, with your team and through the canyon, head through the rock bridge, make a right and cap it from the side. The reason for this is it's possible to get all the way to Butter by horse from Freddy's flag, and I've seen numerous times a ballsy rider come tearing in only to wipe out half the team. Capping from the side at least will give you a chance to pick him off his pony and stay alive. From the Butter flag, again I go round the large rock, not through the canyon, and push on to Charlie. I like to approach Charlie from Midtown and can often catch the Ottoman team running right past you after they have capped Duff. They don't expect you to be there because the rest of your team followed each other and made an immediate beeline for the building marked on the map. Once on Charlie, I will cap from either behind the cart on the outer edge of the second building, again marked on the map. Now you don't really want to cap from behind the cart if you have spawned on the British side, as you will be turning your back on the enemy spawn. However, I spawned on the Ottoman side, and because the map controller my team had on this, it really was the best option for me. From here I like to head over to Duff. The rest of the team will typically be doing the same thing, so you're always going to have support. Never run straight out onto the Duff flag, instead wait and hang back to see where the enemy is and pick them off so that the flag is clear before moving up for the cap. The capture points I use are marked on the map, and as I've explained in other videos, I like to stay mobile, so no capping from building corners. From Duff is usually back to Charlie, however if you find yourself on a team like mine then it's off to Edward. Don't run across open ground even when you are dominating the map. The long range sniper brigade will be hanging back and there's no point in making yourself an easy target. Instead go around to the north and push on Edward from the side. It gives you a good sight line up the rocks, and when I reach my capture point it also gives me a sight line over to Freddy. I never push their home flag. This map is so big that you will end up either having to run across the whole map or you'll trap yourself on this flag and the action will shift to the other side of the map. Instead, what happened in this game, I run back to Butter as the capture point for this flag. Coming from this direction is again marked on the map. Reason behind it is of course sight lines up on the high rocky cliff edge path that snipers hang out at, and you can protect yourself from players coming around from the right hand side of the map and that will try and kill you in much the same way as I would do right immediately off the spawn. After this cap and the way this map seems to have played out, you'll now find yourself running around in circles, capping and getting occasional kills. I don't like this map because of this. It becomes very repetitive and boring, and it's just, I don't know, it's great. I mean, it's fantastic for, I guess, racking up a ton of points, but there's no real challenge to it and it gets really boring running around in circles all the time. So there it is. That's how I play Sinai Desert. This is a really short video. I don't like this map. I don't enjoy playing it. I've done it for the purposes of the series, and I've tried to give you some tips and tricks as to the way that I like to play the map. If these add or help to your playstyle, then that's fantastic. If you avoid the map like me, well then also fantastic. But if you really do like playing it, then I hope these tips and tactics, I guess, have helped you out along the way and can maybe improve your gameplay and game style and all that kind of fun jazz. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to see other map guides, then please check out the links below or hit the thumbnails. If you want to stay up to date on all my content, then please subscribe, and for all the latest news about my channel, Battlefield 1, follow me on Facebook, Twitter or Google+, and don't forget to check out my live stream every Wednesday 7 PM Central Time, Saturdays 10 AM Central Time, that's in the US, plus 6 hours if you're in London. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. My name is Max Rank, and I'll see you in the next one.